Bye, Dad. I love you. You're sads. I see you soon. You'll be in Korea this summer. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh my gosh. This is my first time actually talking to you guys, but I just made it to my Airbnb. I went through immigration and everything, and that took about 3 hours for me to be able to do that. and I finally made it to my Airbnb. I will do a tour in the next video, so make sure you're subscribed so you'll see what it looks like and see what I'm doing. Keep updated while I'm here in my mandatory 2-week quarantine. So you made it to my Airbnb. I'm gonna wake up and give you guys more of an update in the morning, let you guys know all the process, how everything went, traveling here and everything like that. But I'm just so happy to have food and be able to take a shower and just sleep. So I got all of my luggage and everything, and it's just been a long day. So I'm gonna get some rest, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hello friends, I don't think I've even introduced myself in this video, so hello, my name is Elaini, or the Real Elaini, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So I have moved to freaking South Korea from America, and oh my gosh, am I so happy to be here. Like, holy crap. If you don't know, I got my teaching job here in October, so it's been a long time since I've got my passport, got my visa, and got everything together to be able to actually come. So I'm just so excited to actually be here and see it in person, and it's just everything that I wanted and more. I'm just so excited to get out of this 14-day quarantine. So since I didn't talk much in the beginning clips, I wanted to kind of go over what I went through with this long haul flight and going through the immigration process. This is definitely just going to be my experience. So first off, we had a delay and I had to wait a couple of days to actually arrive in South Korea because there are such strict laws on making sure that you have a negative COVID test before you can even board the plane. And unfortunately, mine did not come back in time, so I had to change my flight. Thank God they didn't charge me anything. And I finally got here on Friday. So I left my house in Greenville, South Carolina freaking early on Thursday morning, and I took a flight from there to Dallas, Fort Worth. I was honestly so scared I was gonna miss my other flight because there's so much snow and everything going on over there that they decided to delay my plane from Greenville. And I was so nervous that I was gonna miss my flight, but I definitely made it. After running and hustling through the airport, I finally made it and got on the plane, and it was one of the best feelings. I'm not even kidding. Just finally being on the plane and knowing that I'm finally going to get there. It was just a really great feeling. But that flight was a good 15 hours. But right now, because of COVID and the limited amount of people that are coming to South Korea, I got my whole row to myself, which was amazing. So the process for the flight that I was on, we took off and they started the beverage service after we were about 10,000 feet or whatever into the sky. And then afterwards, they started handing out our first meal, which was like a lunch/dinner. So it was actually really good. I got bibimbap. It was also like another option of chicken, but I definitely didn't want that. And it was really good. I was honestly really shocked. People talk crap about airline food all the time, but I would eat that meal again. I'm not even kidding. So we got that at first, and then I was watching 22 Jump Street. Let me know if you actually commented that down below or if you knew that movie when I was showing it. After I ate and after my movie was finished, I definitely just laid out on all 3 of the seats with multiple pillows, multiple blankets, and passed out. I passed out for about 4 hours, woke up to a snack sitting next to me, and I was like, okay, cool. So I got to eat a little bit, watched a couple episodes of Friends, which is one of my favorite shows, and then I passed out again for like another 4 or 5 hours. And it was so nice because I literally like passed out for the whole entire time, and it was actually really comfortable. I wasn't really complaining at all about it. And obviously that's a lot better than having to sit up in a chair the whole time, especially because I was sitting in economy. So super thankful for that, honestly. And shout out to one of my best friends, Kenzie. She gave me this amazing care package before I left, filled with snacks and hand sanitizer, Purell wipes to wipe everything down, a face mask, earplugs, which I definitely put that face mask on and put those earplugs in every time I was sleeping, and that was amazing. chapstick, lotion, so much stuff. So if you have a friend that is going on a long haul flight or moving somewhere and they have to get on a long flight or do something like that, I definitely recommend sending stuff like that. It's like a cheap, fun way to show that you really care, and I really, really appreciate that, Kenzie. So I used almost every single thing. She even gave me like a little mouthwash and a little toothbrush and toothpaste since you're on the flight for so long, and it all just was so great. So thank you so much, and definitely recommend doing that for any of your friends. So about an hour and a half before we landed, we ended up getting another meal, and it was either noodles or eggs because it was like a breakfast, and I should have gotten the noodles, but I took the eggs instead, and they were not that good. I only ate about half of it and ate the fruit and stuff, and then just did not eat the rest of that. It was just not that good. But then we had to fill out a bunch of paperwork saying like where we're gonna quarantine, our Airbnb address or whatever address you're gonna be at. They also wanted to know like your passport number, you put your name on there, your seat number, and where you're coming from, things like that. And then when we got off the plane, we stood in a really long line where they took our temperatures and checked to see our COVID test. So if you are traveling to South Korea, make sure you print out your COVID test on a piece of paper and bring it with you, because they're gonna keep it and they need the paper instead of you just showing them a PDF. So make sure you have it printed, because if you don't, I don't know what would happen, but you just should bring it and have it printed. So I've heard horror stories about this section, that if you are running a little bit too warm or anything, like if they suspect you have a fever, they think that you're having some sort of COVID symptoms, and you could literally have to stay in the airport, get a COVID test, and it can take up to 8 hours to get the results back. And that was so scary for me because I just run warm in general, but I was a little bit warm because I swear they had the heat on in the airport, and I'm like, okay, hello, we're walking, carrying a bunch of heavy stuff. Like, of course we're gonna sweat. So I was definitely hot, and like I said, I just run warm in general. So I was a little bit over, and they put this necklace around me saying that I had symptoms, and I went over and talked to another lady, and they were like, we'll check your temperature again in 10 minutes. And I was like, praying to God, hopefully that my temperature would cool down for me just sitting, because I did not want to sit there and wait another 8 hours after just doing everything that I just did, because it was already nighttime there the next day. And she asked me if I would be okay going home between 1 and 2 a.m. And I was like, please, like, do I have to? Like, I literally asked her that. Please, I don't want to. So she checked my temperature again, and I was like, am I still warm? And she was like, no, you're fine. And I was like, thank God, because no, I don't want to stay in the freaking airport for another 8 hours in a cubicle. She asked me if I was claustrophobic, because they put you in a little square and just make you sit there until your COVID results come back. No, thank you. No, thank you. So finally I was able to go through the regular line and everything was fine. So you go through a line where they help you set up the app and put in the address where you're staying, just because it can be a little bit confusing if you're not from here. So they helped us do all of that. And then we stood in another line where they checked off that everything was okay after they called your contact. So they ended up calling my recruiter, but they can call whoever you're gonna be staying with, like a family member or whatever reason you're here for. So then you stand in another line and you give them all of your information, and they kind of just put it into a computer. And then you leave that line and go to a different line where they still put some more stuff in the computer. You take a fingerprint of both of your index fingers and they take a picture of you. And then you finally get to leave and go get your bags, which is like a really great feeling, because that doesn't sound like that took a long time, but it took so long. And then you finally get to grab your bags. They have a ton of carts, so make sure that you use a cart. My bags were so heavy. I had one that was 70 pounds, one that was 50 pounds, and then I had my carry-on and a backpack. So I had a lot of stuff already, and that's why I was also just so hot, because I was carrying the heavy backpack and like lugging around my carry-on. So make sure you grab the cart, because it will save your life, sis. And then you're gonna walk down this hallway where you're gonna hand them more stuff, and they check off that you finished and that you are good to go with the entry in the country. and then you walk down this other hallway where you can go and find your car, or they can put you in a taxi. So I went over to the area where the taxi drivers were going to be taking me to Incheon, because that's where I'm staying, is in Incheon. But at that moment, if you pre-ordered a SIM card, or if you need to change currency or anything like that, tell the person before they start putting you into a taxi. So the lady was asking me where I was going, la la la, but then I told her I need to get my SIM card. There wasn't much English at this point. She didn't really know a lot of English, but we figured it out. She knew what I was saying. So she let me keep my stuff there, and I just walked to the kiosk, got my SIM card, and then just came back. And then I got into a taxi, and I was home free on my way to my Airbnb. Oh my gosh, best feeling, dude. Already it just takes so long to get here, and then they like kind of interrogate you about why you're even coming. Not necessarily because you have your visa and everything, but it's just like, guys, I promise I'm supposed to be here because I have my visa, I have a job, like we're all doing you know, it's okay. But they just want to make sure, and they want to make sure that you had all your COVID tests and everything. So I get it. It's just a lot of precautions right now because of the pandemic. It was such a beautiful ride to my Airbnb. You could see all the lights, all the city lights. It was so gorgeous. On the paper that they gave my taxi driver that said the address for my Airbnb, he was kind of confused because they wrote it in weird. So he actually had to call a translation service because he didn't know any English. And he told them what was going on or whatever. He literally handed me his cell phone and was like, talk to these people. So I answered it, and the lady was like, can you retell me the address? Like, it's kind of confusing. And I think the English one is a little bit off from the actual Korean address. So I gave her the English one, but she still didn't really understand it either. But I gave her my Airbnb host contact information, and then the taxi driver ended up calling my Airbnb host, and then we ended up finding it, so it was all good. It was all good. That was definitely just interesting with that language barrier, but I thought that was like a really, really cool idea to be able to break that barrier and be able to actually communicate. So he helped me with all my bags, and I brought them inside, finally made it upstairs into my house, and here we are. So I have more videos coming up of me and my days in quarantine. So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for all those videos. And yeah, let me know what your favorite part of this video was. Let me know what you want to see while I'm here in Korea. And make sure, yeah, again, that you are subscribed so you can see all of my journey here in South Korea. This is just the beginning, and I cannot wait. So yes, I'm here in my 14-day quarantine. I got to leave the first day to go take a COVID test. I walked around and got to see a bunch of stuff. It was really cool. I couldn't go anywhere though, just straight there and straight back. And now I'm stuck in this jail cell for a little bit, but it will be so worth it once I can finally get out and start living and start my job and everything. So again, like I said, more videos to come, so stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you.